Tansei, welcome back to Metis Minute, your source for Metis news in Region 7. Welcome back to Metis Minute. I am your host, Samantha Loney, and today we are following up on a story that we have previously brought you earlier in the week. Today, we are going to be discussing the encampment evictions at Berczy Park in Barrie, Ontario. We were able to spend a few days at the encampment with residents and workers who were there to assist in these evictions from Berczy Park. If you watched our previous coverage of the encampment evictions, you saw that there were advocates there protesting and advocating on behalf of the encampment residents who were clear that they did not want to leave this park. We also have footage from inside the encampment from one of the first days that the county police and bylaw officers had entered. These advocates were trying to hold off the evictions for as long as they could, wanting to ensure that the encampment residents understood their rights and what they were agreeing to if they chose to leave the encampment. Now, I want to give you some information on the legalities of removing people from encampments. Recently, it has been made illegal to remove encampment residents if there is not adequate shelter and housing options provided to them. The city and county have released multiple statements about the housing options that have been made available to encampment residents. But as you will hear later from residents themselves, the only option that was provided to them in the city of Barrie was the Busby Centre. A lot of the encampment residents had stayed at the Busby Centre previously, which they had said was not a pleasant stay. Obviously, staying in a shelter with other unhoused people is not the ideal situation, but we don't want to just tell you what these encampment residents told us. So with their permission, we were able to interview two encampment residents, one who was okay with being on video and one who is not. So we do have video of the one interview and audio to provide you with for the second.
I'm camping in Berczy Park because on February 11th, I lost all my family in a car accident. And so I lost my home and I lost my mom, my brother, my two younger brothers, and my mom. I never grew up with a dad. So I lost my whole family. We were all living together in the second beach. And so I was left with just a house on my own. And obviously I couldn't afford that. And so from there, I went from doing a couple renting to a few people who it didn't work out with, and so it just ended up in a sticky situation, and I've tried to just do what I can from there, and so I ended up here. And I stayed, like I said, I did stay at the Busby, but it's not an accommodation. It's not a safe place for someone to go, or even somewhere that provides a safe place for your belongings. This morning I was woken up to several, I didn't want to say several, it was more than several, 8 to 10 city workers and men, police officers, people for the town telling me that I needed to vacate the premises and that it was time sensitive and I had a very limited amount of time to remove my belongings from the premises, or they were going to take them down with force pretty much, including myself.
Were you offered any place to go? Did they offer you anywhere to go?
No, I haven't been offered anywhere to go at all since I've been here. I've been here for the last 2 times that they've come into the park, and they haven't offered me anything. They did offer a bed at the Busby, but that was under the condition that they kicked somebody else out of the bed. So it wasn't actually an opening for a bed. It was somebody else had to give up their bed for me to come in. And that was only for the night. So I'm good for one night, but what happens the night after that or the night after that?
And do you feel safe at Busby?
Absolutely not. I stayed at the Busby for 10 days before, and while I was there, all my belongings were stolen. I was attacked while I was sleeping, and I don't, honestly, I appreciate the Busby and what they're trying to do, but I just don't believe that everyone that's working there is there for the right reasons.
Is there anything else that you want to add? Anything that you witnessed here today that you want the people to hear the truth upon?
I want everyone to know that what they're doing here is wrong and it's inhumane, and they're forcing people to leave what we believe is our home and what we've made into our home, and we care about everyone here, and we try to make a home for everybody, and we welcome anybody that needs help here, and they're not offering us any help or any supplies or anything to give us a safe place to go from here. It's not right. I deserve to be able to live how I want to live too. I deserve to have my own place. I deserve to be able to afford this. I just can't right now. I guess I just am not in a position to be able to do that. I had all this stuff. It was just taken away from me by an accident.
By a tragedy.
Yeah, a tragedy and trauma, and I just ended up here. And so I've been told today is that I had to leave, that it was time sensitive. I was offered storage for my belongings, not how long I would be in storage. Basically, they wanted to take everything out of my tent and put it in storage just to get me out of here. It wasn't that they were trying to store my stuff for me to have a safe place for my storage. They were just trying to get my stuff out of here. Ryan's Hope is the only people that have been here to advocate for us and support us, and then they provided us with papers to put on our tent set our charters of rights, which I was unaware of until they provided that. Mr. Mayor and Council, if you want us to leave or you want us to get out of this area, I believe that you should be providing us a safe place to go, somewhere that we can call home and somewhere that we can create as our own.
In the last week, so the city's decided to just come in and breach everybody's human rights by telling us we are to remove ourselves when we have nowhere else to go. You would not want to stay in the Busby. Like, since I've been there, I've contracted MRSA, which is a bacterial skin infection, cellulitis or cellulosis of some sort. They've come in. They've even today, the last couple of days, the city decided they condemn my wheelbarrow even that I bought on Kijiji, because I pay other people that need help to just give them some money in their pocket during the day to clean up the park as it is, and they decided to take it, and their private contractor they brought stole that, my rakes, my shovels as they left. I don't know, just tons of things. I guess I don't know. They're just treating us like lower than scum, Like, all we're trying to do is get by, like the rest of the people, right? They offered us one night accommodations. That's it, like a night in the Busby, which is again back there where you have risk of everything being stolen. You have risk of, injury, everything. There's countless things that could happen there. Out here, I feel safer. In the last 10 years, I've been through a lot of things, and this place has been probably the most comfortable I've been in 10 years. Today, they finally told us that they don't have a date for as long as it could, but we have maybe a month worth of storage, possibly a bit longer. They haven't even decided how long yet. So all our belongings, like I've lost everything I own. I'm probably on the 6th time this year alone, and I've just started rebuilding things again, and now I'm at risk of losing all that once again. This is all I own. They haven't kept one word they've said, and yeah, their offers are just stories. They're like a tale, There's no promise to it. There's no guarantee of anything that they're offering. With Busby last week, they've actually been pretty helpful. They've come out, brought us food at least, because if we leave the park, then we can't come back in. They brought food out to us, but like the Busby itself, the people that work there and that are good, and they try and do what they can, but it's not their responsibility. This should be on the city or the town to help us and provide for us, rather than a private facility come out and do it. It's not their job, this should be the job of the city to relocate us or find a suitable accommodation somewhere, Crown land, that we could go and build a structure under whatever dimensions they approve of to make it through the winter and the cold without people dying. Like, what are the stats of how many people have died outside in this city just because of being outside in the winter that are homeless? You know, like, there's so many factors that they don't look at, and they don't care really, obviously. You know, Ryan's Hope's been great. They've helped us. They've advocated for us in many ways, and still are, and hopefully they keep going on, because this is just the beginning. They do this here, and the next step is they go to the next one, and the next place where everybody's trying to just, you know, find somewhere to stay, live, and get comfortable. And you know, we let this happen here, so now it's just going to continue like a chain reaction. They're going to keep going, hitting the next one, and the next one, and the next one. There needs to be something planned in place, like, you know, get together and build an actual facility for the homeless, and something to reintegrate some people back into society, the ones that can and are willing to put forth the effort. And you know, even warming centers, and you know, like, there needs to be somebody from each camp that comes up and as a spokesperson, you know, and everybody kind of get together and approach the city with something.
That last interview you heard was from the Metis encampment resident who we have been speaking with for the past few days. We wanted to provide you with some information about removing Indigenous encampment members. The United Nations Declaration of Rights for Indigenous Peoples provides that these encampment residents who identify themselves as Indigenous have unique rights that should be followed. First, these Indigenous encampment residents have the right to refuse the options that are provided to them by the County of Simcoe, who is in charge of the City of Barrie's homelessness crisis. Another right that these Indigenous encampment residents have is to be made aware of all of the services available to them from their Indigenous nation or from the Indigenous community services that are in their area. And lastly, of course, these Indigenous residents of encampments are allowed to ask for a community member to be present while the police and these other community organizations are assisting in their removal from the encampment site. Of course, it is ideal that any of these residents not have to live on the streets in the first place, but we know that in the County of Simcoe there is a large houseless population, which is why advocate groups like Ryan's Hope exist. We were in the encampment with Ryan's Hope and other advocates who were urging county workers to halt the evictions, so that way residents could fully understand their rights and where they were going after the evictions took place. Again, the only option that they told us was provided to them was the Busby Center. They also weren't informed on how long they would be staying at the Busby Center or how long the Busby Center and the county intended on keeping their possessions in storage. As we mentioned at the top of the episode, we were able to get video footage inside the encampment, and we wanted to make sure we showed you that today. We wanted to let you know that the purpose of showing you this footage is not to exploit anyone. It is simply to allow you to see the realities of what is going on inside these encampments.
This is day 2 of the dismantling of people's homes wrongfully, illegally. So we are going to document and show our solidarity in the ways that we can. And let everyone that comes here today, it's the same clipboard holding man from the bylaw. We're going to let them know that what they're doing is not okay. And I suggest anybody watching this that you please email and contact Barrie City Council, or your councillors, the mayor. Even if you don't reside in Barrie, you can still speak up in warning against this illegal eviction of unhoused community members and friends, many of whom are Indigenous and many of whom do not want to leave. So this is their home, and It's not as simple as just taking down tents. These are people's homes. This is where they stay safe. This is where they have a sense of community. So we're gonna meet them. Are you gonna make them leave? Are you gonna terrorize them in their own homes? Because it's coming.
How about today, though, folks? Instead of ripping it out like it's your fucking jolly off, you treat it with respect, eh? That'd be nice.
So here's the crew that from Toronto that the city has hired to remove people's stuff from the encampment. Their earthly belongings and put it in a U-Haul and take it to the dump. This is an illegal action happening here today that is inhumane and cruel. And these are the county of Simcoe officials that are overseeing this illegal eviction. And so the county
You're not going to be removing anybody.
for this support. You guys know that there's no shelter beds available. You know that nobody has been offered a motel voucher. You guys have been lying, and you guys are going to have to prove in court that you actually offer people truly accessible accommodations. So we look forward to seeing you prove that in court. Last night, your own data shows that there was 106 people in shelter in Barrie with 137 beds. And the motel that deals with you guys is full. So you have not offered anybody anything. Are you ready or no? But, you know, I hope your paycheck is worth it to lose your humanity. Sell your humanity for a paycheck.
This has to be crossing your moral code. It has to be.
This is what I like to call the illusion of help. You guys are doing this for the people that are running their mouths about shit that they don't even
You can
understand.
walk away, but you will have to answer for this.
Yeah, you
report.
will. You can walk away all you want, but
That's really cowardly.
just shows your colors.
I told you that I didn't want to hear another word as you tried to tell me what accommodations
Oh,
you
look,
had
it's my
made.
lawyer. I gotta
I
take
gave
this
you
phone.
my phone number as a contact.
That's an important one.
And I waited for you to
If
reach
you don't
out.
want me to speak, then what can I
It's
do
not a matter
here?
of I don't want you to speak, it's a matter of what you're
We
saying
want you to
is
use
shit
your
and you
voice
know
for
it.
good. That's what we want.
That's what it is.
That's what
I am
everyone's
here to
asking
tell you that
And you're
housing
standing there
somebody
and saying
who has
nothing.
created a family and created a community for 72 hours, ripping apart
This cycle
all of their
doesn't serve
belongings
anybody, it doesn't
violently.
serve
That
you
was
guys,
fucking
it doesn't serve
disgusting,
the
and you
community
can't
that's
deny
living
that
there.
because you have eyes and I know
All
you
it does
do.
is get you guys
Okay?
online showing
To remove all of their rights,
Perpetuates
all
a
of their
cycle
autonomy, all
where
of their
housing
power
needs
and
to be the
choice,
solution.
and then tell me that you're going to house them for 3 days. You're yawning because your parasympathetic nervous system feels that it is at threat. It's not. I am enraged on behalf of my friends.
I know you are.
And if you tell me that 3 days in a hotel is the answer, I will look at you and laugh. Because 8 years ago when I was unhoused, if somebody put me up for 3 days, it would have been a vacation until I had to come back to a place that was trying to kill me. So if the community and the county of Simcoe would like to step the fuck up to the plate and actually look at what is going to be supportive from the people who have lived it, not any of you who have never experienced houselessness, not any of you who have never been deep in the throes of substance use and misuse and the harms associated with that, and lived to tell the tale. Not from forced recovery, by the way, which ended my life, but from the fucking support of community members. Okay, those pieces are what we're talking about today. This is community. This is family. And you uproot them and you separate them and you set them up to die. Not to fail, to die. You uproot them and they die. I am done. So give me a solution that isn't a band-aid. Fuck!
Traumatizing people. Give your heads a shake, honestly. I'm in the helping profession, you're in the helping profession. How is this helping? Please tell me how this is helping. Because you know it isn't. You know you're going to be at other encampments. You know that you're contributing to traumatizing individuals. You're here representing the city of Barrie or supporting the city of Barrie. How is this supporting the citizens of Barrie? These are citizens of Barrie. This isn't helping them.
It's helping the privileged citizens of Barrie get
Yeah,
what they
because
want.
people are uncomfortable.
Yes.
We
people
should all be
are
uncomfortable with the fact that anybody is living on the streets.
Yeah. There's a difference between being uncomfortable and being unsafe. Exactly. Everyone needs to, fix that, and you guys need to stop hiding behind these cowardless people that have no idea what they're talking about in order to do this crap. Because that's why you're here. Because you have people emailing you and running their mouths online and complaining about lies, literally spewing lies and complaining about things that are, there is a problem. We're all uncomfortable. We all don't like it. But this is your solution? This is your solution. We're going to further traumatize people. We're going to further separate people. We're going to take people away from supports and call that support. Make it make sense.
This is just a use of our taxpayer dollars. The money going into the resources here, the cleaning crews, the officers, the bylaw, the support from Simcoe. You guys are all getting paid right now to literally harm people. When you're supposed to protect and serve and help and be part of the solution, you are harming people.
Just because people with money feel like they're uncomfortable.
It's sick.
Yeah. Nobody here is unsafe. I mean, in fact,
Except the encampment residents when you guys come down.
I feel more unsafe going downtown at 2:30 in the morning on a Saturday when all the frat boys are all hopped up on booze and cocaine and all they want to do is cause shit. That is way more unsafe. What are you doing about that?
Nothing.
This is not unsafe.
I
can
camped out in
comfortably
this
walk through
park.
here, no problem. No problem.
And
But
I've been
won't be
mugged
cut
before in a
dead.
park, and
I won't
I
be
feel
cut
safe
dead.
walking through here.
Yeah.
So that says a lot. I've been mugged.
So that's privilege. That is all that is. The fact that 22-year-old frat boys can carry on
Drugging women.
every
Every weekend drugging women. I hear about it.
and do nothing. And yet here you are terrorizing people in their fucking homes. And can we maybe just talk about the fact that you guys are supposed to be here and helping and in support and
We're the only ones
standing
saying
there.
anything.
You're not communicating. You're not doing anything. You're supposed to be
We
here.
have shelter beds available.
You don't have
No,
shelter
you
beds
don't want
available.
shelter beds.
Yeah, your own data
We've
proves
con-
that
you
don't.
get this reaction
You're kicking
because
other
you
people
guys are
out of
lying.
the shelter in order to make these beds available. No extra beds have been made available.
Have you gone
You're
and walked
lying,
to the
and you guys will
shelter?
have to answer and prove this in court. Stop with the lies.
It's not more secure than it is here. That's the thing that's insane. They could be sitting right beside my stuff and you're getting rinsed with your shit right there. Sitting beside it.
Right.
Tell me it's very safe. I know it's not.
It'll be in a,
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you're not comfortable.
Is comfortable leaving. Nobody here.
It's so
We
clear.
have made that very clear.
Oh, shit.
Nobody is leaving voluntarily.
I will leave you with your options if you need any support with any of that stuff. Let me know, okay?
I think it's wild that you said she could speak for herself, and yet everything she said you wouldn't listen to.
No,
You would
I
just defend your stance.
Look,
And I really
you
would
don't
like to know.
have to access storage. Certainly, you can do with your belongings whatever you want, but that is available to you. Okay?
They can do with
Alex, I'd really
people
like
here
to
can
know.
do with their belongings whatever they want. Then why are they being hauled away, load after load in a U-Haul?
Alex,
That is such crap, and you know it.
looking over it, the
You
people who
wouldn't
have
be
no
here
idea
if
what
you
they're
weren't here
doing.
to enforce.
Walking away because you don't want to be held accountable. So then maybe you should look in the mirror and realize you're doing something wrong if you feel cowardly enough
Everybody's
to
just
walk
gonna stick
away.
everybody's shit in, and everybody's gonna fucking rinse it.
After the chaos that ensued on that day, advocates were told they were not able to enter the park due to the park being closed. The park, we were told, was closed for cleaning. The only people who were allowed in the park were the Busby Center, county workers, bylaw officers, city police, and Indigenous support workers who were there to help assist the Indigenous residents of the encampment. As of the recording of this episode, we were told one resident is able to stay for a week due to special circumstances, but the other residents of the encampment are to leave the park as soon as possible. Busby Center and county workers will continue to be at the park to assist the other residents who do need to vacate as soon as possible with the removal of their items to deliver to storage. We are very grateful to have been able to go into this encampment and show you what was going on. But as always with Métis Minute, we don't want to leave you feeling helpless, and we do want to leave you with some possible solutions. As we mentioned earlier, the Indigenous residents of the encampment are protected by UNDRIP. But as we went around to speak to the county workers, police, bylaw officers, and even the Busby Center, it was clear that they were not given the knowledge of the rights of these Indigenous people. That is due to a lack of communication between Indigenous groups and these other organizations that work for these colonial systems. They have no idea what our needs are and how they should be met, and the special circumstances that Indigenous people have rights to when facing these types of encampment evictions. We know that these institutions weren't designed to help Indigenous people, but if we want to move forward in assuring our Indigenous kin have their rights and needs met while living on the street, we need to better communicate these needs and have partnerships with these organizations, if not to at least educate them on the issues that are important to our communities and our solutions. As I mentioned during the Youth Summit video, when you are from a community, you know what is best for it. And at this point in time, all we can do is continuously remind these groups that we are here and we have rights that need to be met. And with that, we would like to remind everybody that on September 14th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., you can educate yourself on the Indigenous community that calls Barrie home. The Barrie South Simcoe Métis Council is holding their open house as a part of Doors Open Barrie. The council office is located at 64 Cedar Point Drive, Unit 1401, and you can come in and ask the local Métis Council, the Vice Chair of the MNO, Sharon Cadeau, and Region 7 Councillor Greg Garrett all the questions that you have about the Métis community that calls Barrie home. Merci for watching, and we'll see you down the river.